Hey, you know, Mitchell Report Unleashed podcast, and you already know I got to bring back dating and relationships with an expert. She's already smiling. She's already here. Chelsko, Chelsko. What's going on? How are you?
Hello, I'm fantastic. I'm great any day I get to talk about dating and relationships. Like I don't know how Jesus was like, this is what you're obsessed with, so here, let's create you a job.
I feel you. You know, one of the great things that I see about content creators like yourself, it was one night, dead ass, one night. And I'm scrolling on Instagram and you just appear in my algorithm. I'm like, who's this? And you said some profound things about like masculinity and males and this and that and how to show up. And I was like, okay, I gotta hit the email. I gotta see what we can do, what we can cook up.
Yeah.
And you know what? We had a discovery call, 30 minutes. Great energy, great vibes. But we're here today. I feel like
We're
we're gonna blow the roof off this podcast and all that good stuff,
Yes.
you know?
Yes, let's do it. Let's make it happen.
You know, for sure. Let's jump right into the conversation. You know, why do you feel like it's difficult to accept stable love?
Oh, I did not know that's where that question was going. Love that plot twist. I thought you were gonna say difficult to date these days because I'm like, well, let's talk about it. To accept stable love is a great question. And that is why it's difficult to date these days, by the way, because so many of us find it very difficult to accept stable love. And the reason, usually 9 times out of 10, is that we have not experienced it in early childhood. And so it's foreign to us. And so we are more comfortable with chaos than a uncomfortable calm. So our nervous system returns back to, we are creatures of habit. We return back to what we know, because that's easier for us, right, than to do something foreign that we don't understand. And so if you grew up with a chaotic upbringing, which, let's be honest, like a lot of, at least 50% of people, grew up with a divorce, and that's just like the real obvious one, right? And then you have the abuse, that's an even more obvious one. But there's a ton of broken homes that aren't broken. There's a ton of parents that weren't emotionally available, or marriages that were not healthy and just stayed together because they're Christians, and there's so much chaos that children grow up and become accustomed to, that then all of a sudden when they are presented with something that is very calm and very consistent, that's foreign, and it feels uncomfy, so they don't know how to even begin looking at, how do I accept this.
No, I hear you. There's a lot there. There's a lot to unpack. You know, I think where I want to go with this conversation is let's start with the males first. Then we're going to spin it back to the females because you really are profound with when you do your speaking monologues, right? For the 15, 20, 30 seconds and things like that. Males in this space accepting love because they see all of these things, the red pill movement, they see the war on masculinity, they're incel, they have all these type of perspectives and diatribes because they've listened to all these other bigger influencers.
Mm-hmm.
Speak to what safe masculinity is from your point of view from a woman.
Safe masculinity. Ooh, I love that. So the lack of masculinity, first of all, I think I just posted about this today. The lack of masculinity is actually very unsafe. It is Toxic masculinity has been misconstrued to mean any masculinity is toxic, which is just not true. A woman in her feminine energy, she arrives there because of a man who is fully in his and making her feel safe and protected, and that little girl comes out. A safe, healthy masculinity, right, is one, that's loving and calm, but he's strong and he protects his household. He's a provider, and that's not about money. That's about making sure his people are safe and accounted for. There's a silly TikTok with the girl walking in like my brain when I'm with her, my man, and she's like, dee 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 dee, you know, like, and like that is how we get to be with a man who we know is looking out and he's protecting. And but at the end of the day, like we're not just also like checking out and not doing anything. We're in that fun feminine energy. We get the honor and privilege of being his joy, right? And what happens, and I see so often happen, is it's like, well, why is she being, naggy or this or that? It's generally because she doesn't feel safe. And so she doesn't feel safe, so she's overcompensating, or she's expressing all this fear and starting now to get angry and starting to over dramatize and this and this and that. What she's just expressing is like, I need to feel safe. When a man is making her feel safe, secure, held, accounted for, heard, seen, then she can drop into that feminine energy. And what happens on both sides is trauma and lack of knowledge and lack of communication. I had a couple today that I think they're a beautiful couple and they're going to succeed really, really well as long as they learn to communicate. But she has a tendency to just leave when things go awry. And it's not that she doesn't love him or want him. It's that she wants to be pursued by him. And it's that she's scared. And instead of communicating to him, I feel scared because I love you and I actually am afraid of losing you. And in order to not lose you, I'm actually walking away from you, which is the opposite of what I should do. I should express to you that I'm scared. And so a man in his healthy masculinity is able to communicate because he doesn't find emotions weak. First of all, like, this is how you've made me feel. I know that I'm a man and I'm allowed to have emotions and feelings, and that's not weak. I'm here to protect you, and A, B, and C that you're doing is making me feel like I can't do that. So, I mean, there's so many beautiful things that come with the masculine energy. There's nothing like the feeling of a father that wants to protect his child and wants to protect his wife. And like there has been stories of just miraculous things mothers and fathers but have done when the occasion calls for it. The way that a man shows up for the people that he loves is like really actually miraculous. So I think that it's so important for a man to be able to tap into that masculinity, needs to understand that he also doesn't have to be afraid of being masculine. And sometimes lately our culture attacks it in a way where it makes them feel like, well, I can't be protective because that's toxic, or I can't be strong because that's toxic. And there is a very fine line, but it is very healthy for a man to be in his protective masculine energy.
Well said. Well said, because I feel like a lot of men don't like to listen, right? A lot of these men that are out here just think that I can be Mr. Fix-It. And sometimes all you got to do is just listen. Let her exhaust the tank. I say it all the time. Get her to exhaust. But also, true masculinity is listening and providing the feedback when she say it's safe to do so. You get what I mean? Yeah. Leadership is also a lot of different things as far as what is that household looking like? And let's, even when we peel the layers back, it starts with you and that lady. Maybe she comes from another relationship where, yeah. And with my sentiment is, we've got times where there's so many distractions out there, right? Who to date, how do we show up? And it's just listen and pay attention to what the man and the woman are saying. And you speak
don't
about
listen to react. Actually listen.
No. You said something there, profound part, when you were speaking about the girl and she wants to be pursued, right? Because I think men get that kind of confused. Well, how do I pursue her? Is it chasing after her? Is it like, what define that? Peel those layers back about what that is.
Yeah, and it does come back to communication, right? Because sometimes when a girl leaves, that means just leave her alone. Like she actually just wants to go away. She doesn't feel safe here and she wants to be left alone. But then there's and that's hard, and that's why it's so important to communicate. Like, there are other times when she wants to be pursued, and she wants you to come be like, wait, I miss you, don't leave, I care about you, I don't want to lose you, right? Now, her leaving in the first place isn't a healthy. A person in their healed energy will know running away. You can walk away and cool down. Highly suggest that. Think about what you're upset about. Give it a few days. By Tuesday, you might be like, I don't even know why I was mad about that, and it might not even be a fight, right? But if you have given it some time, and you're like, I'm so upset about this, that's the time to have a discussion. There's no reason for couples to fight. You should have a discussion. Now, if you have a partner that has a habit of leaving, it is the best thing for you to do in order to respect yourself is to be like, hey, I genuinely care about you. You have left now on multiple occasions, which makes me think you do not want me. Please let me know. Are you running away because you want me to fight for you and you're trying to see if I will come after you? Or are you running away because you do not want this? Because I am well adjusted and am trying to be in my healed energy. So I'm going to respect your boundary and let you go if you want to just go. But if you actually are running away because you want me to chase after you, this needs to be a conversation, and this needs to stop being the pattern. Next time, just come to me and tell me what you're upset about, and we'll work through it as a team.
And that's the thing, because I'll speak from a man's perspective, and I know a lot of men that are from my kind of nature and my ilk. That whole run after, ignore a call because we're in a back and forth situation, or you're trying to pull that power play. It doesn't work with someone that's regulated. I'm going to be honest. Because what a regulated person is going to do is be like, yo, what's up? Right? It's like, I get it. We're going to have bad days. And some of the times it may not even be you as the issue. It could be something that happened throughout the day.
Yeah.
First thing about how you set the intention of your morning.
Yeah.
So when you see these power plays, and I see this happen because us men talk, where women will play this, they'll just separate from the conversation, go ghost. And it's like, well, wait, why are we doing that? If you have something that's wrong, I've always been the sole provider of saying this, just talk about it.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to simply sit here and I'm not going to mock and jeer you. Frick. Yeah. If you rolled your ankle coming off the front door, you know what I mean, before you went into your vehicle, just say that. Say what's up, see what's bothering you. Yeah. And then it's like, let's figure out how we can work through this together. Yeah. Because communication is what we need. We don't need to have the tiffs and the riffs and the animosity. My mother and father always said, you don't go to bed angry. Amen. And just people in couples,
amen,
dating, go to bed angry with each other. And God forbid, you're not promised tomorrow. Then you have that guilt. Then you have that resentment. Then you have more trauma. Yeah. Because then you're going to feel guilty for a lot of time. You know what I mean? And things like that. So I say all of that to say this, where it's like, it leads into even where we're about to go in the conversation. Communicate. Just communicate, y'all. Communicate. Stop. Just sometimes put the phones down, put social media down, and just communicate. Yeah. Right? Communicate. Say what's coming up. How am I showing up for you? Have I missed your blind spots? Right? Yeah. I champion this to a lot of men and women, or whatever your sexual orientation is nobody should be walking in front of each other. Walk side by side.
Yeah.
Like a vice grip, deadlock. You know what I mean? But too many folks want to have these egos and these power trips. Well, I've had this happen with me and another man or another woman, so I'm just going to just walk forward. You got to catch up. It's like, no. Explain yourself, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting that you say that, because in my experience, it has been the opposite, where I'm the girl and I'm full of emotions and I talk and I love to talk. And I actually just had my best friend tell me literally today, she's like, when you first started texting me, I didn't know how to deal with it. She was like, I didn't even know what to do with that many, like, I don't know if it was like that I was texting so much or how much I was texting. But she said it healed a part of me. And I was like almost brought to tears. But I've always been that person that like, not always. In some situations, I also, will shut down. But in like most situations with dating, I have found that like they just pull back and I'm like, well, what do I do with this? I can't talk to nobody. I can't read your mind. I don't know if are you upset? Are you just needing some space? Like, so I don't want to be, and then a lot of women deal with this, right? We don't want to be too much. So I guess I'll just shut up and wait for you to make an appearance again. Like, oh, forgot about you. And so I think it's a personality thing even more so than a male and female thing. Because I was just telling someone yesterday, I've had so many male clients be like, well, she just stopped texting me. And I was like, it wasn't until I started working with men that I realized like that is not an exclusive thing to a male or a female, because for me, I thought that I text a lot and that, a guy will just not text me for a while. And I thought, well, that's just a dude thing. I think it's really a personality thing, because I've had a lot of guys be like, well, she just didn't text me for 24 hours. And I'm like, what girl didn't text you? But it's not. It's a personality thing.
Well, let's see. I like where this conversation is going because I think I'm the type of man, right? And I've always been like this. I'm a communicator first. Words of affirmation guy, right? You want to talk love language, let's talk love languages. I'm about words.
Yeah.
So I've always said is when you're getting to know somebody, and I get it, in the early stages, the person's not going to flood you, open up the floodgates.
Yeah.
But if your lady ain't saying nothing to you and finding ways to talk to you, I've always been on the firm belief is either one of two things. Either she doesn't really want to talk, or maybe there's someone else. And there's some times where it gets it's a slippery slope, because it's like women love to talk.
Yes.
That's y'all. That's what you guys do. You guys will talk about popsicles one day in one setting, and then it talks about cats and then dogs, then your job, then the makeup, then going out with the girls, and then doing all this and doing all that. You see what I'm saying? And you're sitting there and you're just listening.
Yeah.
So if she's not doing that with you, you got to ask is, who's she doing that now with?
Well, I would argue that, so for me personally, I will not. Every once in a while I slip up, but I try very hard not to text a man first. And I mean ever. Like, I'm not texting you good morning. I'm not texting you good night. I'm not texting you in the middle of the day. I will almost immediately answer, like kind of in a spooky way. I try to not be too weird about it. Like I try to give it a 10-minute to make it seem like I'm not like that much of a freak, that I've just been sitting around waiting all day for your text. And the irony is I'm busy as hell. I'm busy. I'm doing a million things. I really actually don't have time. But that's the one thing that matters to me. That's the one thing I care about the most, is I cannot wait for his text. But I will not text first, because maybe it's a little old school, but I'm like, no. He is pursuing me. I am the woman. If he is pursuing me, if he cares, and I make that known though. And I think that that's important. It's an early conversation for me to be like, it's important for you to text me. It means a lot to me. And then if they choose not to, on you, boo-boo.
Okay, so you're speaking in the beginning stages of courting and getting to know someone.
Yeah, once I'm dating, all hell breaks loose.
All hell breaks loose.
Blowing out. Yeah.
Your phone's
Whenever
done.
I need something, I need to tell you just like that, my hair was slightly less curly than I wanted it to be. Like, you're going to know. When we're dating, yeah, sorry.
And that's the thing. I don't want to get the audience kind of, because some people will be like, well, that's gamey. If you're in a relationship, married, you're doing all this, and you still has like, I feel like different strokes for different folks. And
yeah.
And you want to
hopefully get to know each other by that point enough to know, does he want me to blow up his phone right now? Or is he probably, I know he's into this business meeting today. And so I probably, like, hopefully you know each other a little better by the time you're like in a dating
And
relationship.
I think that comes down to even explaining things. Could be you're going into a meeting. You should be able to tell your girl that. Vice versa, right?
Yes.
You gotta set. It's like you gotta set the foundation, right?
Yes.
I'm over this thing where people don't want to set foundations for a relationship. You can be the sole provider and just be like, hey, like, listen, as a man, you know what? I'm going into this meeting. I'm gonna respond back if you don't hear from me in an hour or two. Hey,
That's
I'm
it.
going here.
That means the world to us. And as a woman too. Hey babe, I'm going like I also into a meeting. I'm about to film a podcast. I'm going to, be with my girlfriend. I'm going to put my phone down because she really needs emotional support right now. Just communication. It's so easy. My most recent relationship, I've never felt so much trust in any other relationship. I had full access to his phone. I never once looked at that man's phone. Why? He communicated with me. When I texted, he responded, and could maybe be like, I'm not going to be able to be on my phone right now. Cool. But he just let me know. It was just communicative. And it's like you said, like, it's not about having to be available all the time because that's grossly toxic. I had my exes prior, they needed me to answer. I have literally still to this day PTSD from certain text tones because if I did not answer their text or call within like 5 to 10 minutes tops, I was getting my ass beat. Like it was, and maybe not always, not physically, like I was physically abused, but that not, I would just get screamed at, right? I knew I was going to be punished or they were going to give me silence treatment. That was their way of punishing me, whatever they had to do. So it's not about being on call at all times or available at all times. It's just about communicating. I'm going to be available. I'm not going to be available. Just so you know, it's like peace of mind, it's really not that hard to do.
And you set the tone. It's a level set. It's a level set, and that's the reason why I listen to folks, and then they're like, this is what's happening in the relationship, and it's like, was the foundation set from the jump? Just
Yeah.
set the foundation. You know what I mean? Let's move directions here, right? Because I think one of the biggest things I also wanted to talk about is I gotta laugh here.
Uh-oh.
What is it that women really want from their
What?
partner? Yeah, and we're talking about men and women
Mm-hmm.
dating. We're not talking about all the other stuff, right? I
Yeah.
support it, but we're talking about men and women.
Yes. I believe that women want safety, security, to feel seen, to feel heard, and to be provided for. And that goes back to what I'm saying. It's said at one point, it really doesn't have to do with money. It really is about like, he cares about me and he's going to do whatever it takes to protect his woman. And women will do, I heard this comedian say it recently, and I was like, she just did the best life coaching I've ever heard, and she's a comedian. She's like, all these people are like, oh, women hate men, and men haters, blah, blah, blah. We are, yeah, we hate men, but we are actually freaking obsessed with you. That's the reality of it. Like, women are obsessed with men. You hear these stories, right? Of the stupid ass shit, excuse my language, that we will do for a man we love. Like, oh yeah, no problem. He's in prison. I'll just wait for 7 years and visit him every day because we just are like blinded when we love a man. We will literally do like I literally got pulled over one time for drunk driving and I was sober because I was trying to find my boyfriend because that's how panicky we get over men we love when we want to make sure they're okay and like make sure they feel respected and do anything to make sure they feel loved. Like that's what it really is. It's not about for us providing for him. It's about I need to make sure he feels loved. I need to make sure he feels valued. I will do anything to make him happy. Like as a baby child, when I was like had barely words, I used to say make daddy happy as a little, whatever it was, 3 with like 3 words. Like that is our that is our utmost cry as humans is to make our parents happy, but especially for a daughter, to make my father proud. And that carries into our marriage life. We then are given away to our husband, and we want to make our husband proud, happy. There's a reason it's like you walk into a room and you want to make your man, like, you look a certain way, you act a certain way, you present a certain way. You have your eyes, you make sure your eyes are not wandering because you are respecting him, because to a man, he needs to feel respected, and a woman needs to feel cherished and protected and loved. And you don't have to, again, have money to do that. You don't have to have all of the time in the world to do that. You just have to be thoughtful and care enough to do it. And I think that a man that is in love does it by nature. And if you are in love and you are doing those things that men do by their nature, which is to provide, protect, love her, and it's not going well, maybe she is not the one. Because a woman that is in her healed energy, that is equipped to treat you and respect you like the king that you are, will make you feel loved and cherished and honored for protecting and providing and loving her. If she's wilding out, if she's making you feel like nothing, if she's making you feel like you're worthless and you're not enough, honey, she ain't the one.
Here comes the truth serum. I love it. I love it. I love it. Because it's what captivated me to doing this podcast with you, because you spoke about that. The video where you said is a man's man is that's regulated, right? I can't word for word it. He will force you to level up right before your very eyes, because he's going to walk with a purpose. And this is the reason why I say to a lot of women, find men of purpose.
Yes.
Find men of purpose. I'm not saying you got to find a man of God. That's a bonus. But find a man of purpose and substance. Look at how he does his day to day.
Yeah.
That will be everything you need to know. If he's structured, he's detailed, he's oriented, most likely he's going to be structured and detailed and oriented with you.
Yeah.
I'm yet to see somebody challenge me on that. Because when he has that mission, when he has that grasp of life and he knows where he's going, he's going to take you on that journey with him.
Yes.
Right? And the thing is, he's going to pour into you. He's going to build into you. Why? Because he's doing it within himself. He wants to see you get to where you want to get to.
Yes.
Right? Because maybe you've dealt with low vibrational energy of other men that maybe didn't champion your dreams, your hopes, your job, whatever you're trying to do. You think every man that comes now these days is going to be showing you that. But then there's that one guy that comes in and he will just look at you and he'll tell you to pull your socks up right away. And when you pull your socks up, you're like, damn, this is different.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't argue with this guy. Because if I argue with this guy, he might just say, hey, listen, all right, this ain't going to work.
Yeah.
And then how you feel? Then you got to go back with the more healing. And then you're trying to find a one-on-one. But there is only really a one-on-one. You can't find other people in other people. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Amen. I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And it ends with, and some of y'all aren't ready for that. It was actually a quote that I found that they had written about, it was supposed to be aimed at men. And I flipped it because I'm like, this is also, and that's the thing about my posts, is that like, I'm bringing up topics that everyone has no problem saying women need to handle. Or, you know what I mean? Men need to handle. And I'm flipping them and being like, well, women need to do that too. Because we're, like you said, what did you say? That was a great analogy.
I can't remember now. It's getting late over here.
We're a unit, right? We're supposed to be walking together. We are supposed to be ready to show up. The biggest, Kate and I, my business partner, our theme is just show up. It's not about being perfect. It's showing up, show up broken, show up late, show up, hurting, but just show up. The guy I'm talking to now, he says, and you just reminded me of this, that the way you do one thing is the way you do everything.
Facts.
So 100%. If you know your purpose, if you know your why, you wake up in the morning for that. You wake up for that, and you're not looking to instant gratification or dating or drinking or anything to get your happiness. You get your happiness because you know your purpose. And that's the center of everything. And having a person that is going to support that purpose would be awesome. But if they're taking away from that, bye. Bye.
So true.
And so the other person will know. You will know. If you walk into a room with someone who is pursuing their purpose, you actually end up looking at yourself and being like, oh shoot, I hope I could, am I ready? Am I ready to support that person because I see that they know what they're doing and they know what they're going? Okay, I'm going to step up. And like both of us should, iron sharpens iron. Both people should be making each other want to be better. Like I have had so many in my own personal life low vibrations where I was just, don't worry about it, like let me cover the bill. Thousands of dollars, like because I wanted to support them and I wanted to believe, like I believed in their dreams or this and that. Rarely has there been, and then also too for me, spirituality, right? Like, will you come to church with me? Would you mind if I'm so sorry to inconvenience you, I have to go to the gym. You know, it's like all of these things. And it was only recently actually that I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so unfamiliar with this feeling of I'm afraid I'm going to lose them because I need to continue being the best version of myself. And that is the kind of fear I want. I want to be challenged to be better. Did you go to church today? You know, I don't want, or did you go to the gym today? Like I'm a 7-day-a-week gym girly. You know what I mean? I can't have someone that it's like an inconvenience for them that I want to work out. Like I can't do that. Like we need to be around people that make us better. That should be our circle no matter what. People that are, if you're, you know, people that are diving in and reading at night, not watching trash TV, you know, diving into their mental health, their physical health, their emotional health. Are you asking the right questions? Are you surrounding yourself with mentors, with leaders? Because otherwise, you know, you end up being the person on the table. And if someone's on the ground, guess who's probably going to pull who where?
Exactly.
You're trying to pull
So
them
true.
up, they're probably going to end up pulling you down.
It's so true. It's so true. And there's a lot there because you see it. You see it. And it's a sad reality. And I think men go through it, women go through it as well. Mm-hmm. And it's like you miss your calling with certain folks. I've always said this, like, not to get too spiritual. I'm a very spiritual person, you know. Bible stays open since I've been like 16, 17 on the night table. Is that people come into your life for the right time. But it's for you to see that blessing.
Yeah.
It depends on what you're going through. Life sometimes slows down and brings the right person to add a level of perspective. Yeah. Now, that could be a friendship, that could be a business acquaintance, but you have to start looking at it when it's love. Yeah. When it gives you those butterflies, right? When you're like, wait, this man or woman is coming in my life now, and all I've been subjected to is heartbreak. Yeah. Low toxic tendencies of men or even women. Mm-hmm. My mentor, Dr. Eric Thomas, he says the exact same thing. He goes, when you have good in your life, you don't ask what's wrong with you, you ask what's right with it. Mm-hmm. And I think what this whole entire podcast is trying to tell the folks is that if you're single or in a relationship or going through your healing phase, is start looking at people and saying, what is right with you, not what's wrong with you. Mm-hmm. Because real is real. And we're in 2025, and I'm going to be honest, like, you don't have folks that are like this really out here saying what we're saying on camera, saying what we're doing in podcasts, right? We're not out here perpetrating frauds. Yeah, we can have the nightlife. Yeah, we can do all this. We can do all that. But we know when there's time to shut it down. I'm pretty sure you know when you're time to shut it down. Yeah. You feel what I'm saying? We got to shut certain valves down to simply up and bring each other up. Yes. You know what I mean? I give shout outs to my content creator friends, Jed and Jade, you know, Jed and Jade over here in Toronto. And you watch that relationship and so many folks that know about them, you know what they're saying? They're like, that's such an amazing relationship. I say, yeah, because they put the work in. You can have that too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can have that too. I'm not saying it has to be all about social media, but if you want what they want, you got to be able to first work on yourself, second, find the right person. Yes. Because not until you work on yourself is when you're going to actually start working on and finding the right people that are going to come around you.
Yeah. Yeah. And it goes back to what you asked at the very beginning. You have to be ready and willing, no matter what your upbringing is, to be with someone who is an uncomfortable calm. And some people are not ready for that or aren't even aware that they're not ready for that.
So you know what you're going to do as we're winding this down? You need to cook on that, riff on that with me about what that means, uncomfortable calm. Let's go. I want to go on a deep dive on this one.
Yeah. So, okay. So I'm trying to think of like a really obvious example. Okay. So, for example, I have people that, will, because they're used to a parent that is very absent and then present or abusive or divorce or whatever it was, they are used to this kind of love that's like there and then not, and then there and then not. So, for example, when someone is just constantly texting you, it can be like, ew, they won't leave me alone. It can present itself as uncomfortable. This is weird. Why are they texting me all the time? Right? Like, kind of like my best friend, and because she's my best friend, obviously she handled it, right? But when she had someone all of a sudden texting her all the time, she could have been like, I don't recognize this. I don't like it. I'm going to push it away. And then we wouldn't be best friends. And she wouldn't have the best thing that's ever happened to you, Andy. And I wouldn't have the best thing that's ever happened to me, which is her, because she is giving and loving and has so much to give. But she hadn't experienced that with maybe other girlfriends that maybe weren't blowing up her phone as much as I had. So we have to then push. That's the last set, I like to say, about, because I work with a lot of dudes too in gym metaphors. That's the last set. That's where it counts, where it hurts, where you want to quit, you want to give up, you want to be like, this is uncomfy, don't like this, so I'm going to probably dip back to like those girlfriends that only hit me up for parties now because that's normal. That's my comfortable. And I'm not saying that for her, but like I'm saying, or like this, I'm going to go back to the guy that texts me like only when he wants to hook up, because this guy is texting me every single day and he just constantly wants to see me, and I don't understand that. It's weird. It's presenting itself as like ick, which is scary, terrifying, because that ick isn't actually correct. It is that you are not used to a comfortable calm. And I think that's the easiest way to make an analogy of it, but there's a lot of obviously ways that it can present itself. But it's someone who is consistent and showing up and pursuing you. And if you have not experienced that, it can surface as, I'm just not that into him. I'm not that into her. She's just blowing my phone a lot. Yeah, because maybe she cares, and maybe you're not used to having someone that cares about you that much.
Oof. Oof, that was hot. Okay. I didn't know you were going to drop napalm on us. I did not know. Whew. Damn. And that's the thing. People are not used to having someone that cares. I've said it all the time. People love the attention that broken gives them. They love the attention that broken gives them.
Oh, that's a good one too. I'm going to use that.
Go right ahead. Tag to the source. Credit the source.
I will. People love the attention that broken gives them.
Yep, they do. And I think
why?
that
It's because of the dopamine hit. Because and this is what happens with abuse, right? People ask me, hold on, but people ask me, well, how could you allow that? Like, I had a very abusive relationship. How could you allow that? You ask 12-year-old, like, little church girl, white picket fence family, me, how I would never have imagined, right? But they spend a lot of time grooming you, right? So it's like they love bomb and then they take it away. And then they love bomb and then they take it away. So then you will do anything for that love bomb, for that dopamine, because then they're gonna take it away again. So the moment you get it, it's like it's literally does the same thing to your brain as drugs. And so it's the same thing, and that's why, what did you just say? That quote?
People love the attention that broken gives them.
Yes, the attention that broken gives them, because that high is higher because it's dopamine in your brain. Whereas a normal, someone who's just texting you every day, you're not going to get the dopamine. It's not going to come because it's just normal. It's healthy. Your body, you're chemically not getting a hit. It's just calm. And if you are not used to that, it feels boring.
Well said. Well said. This is great. This is great. A lot of information there. Change your situations, ladies and gentlemen. You know,
take notes.
right? Before we get out of here, you're an artist yourself. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We didn't even get into all that. You're an artist yourself. So plug what the ebbs and flows of that is working for you as we're closing out the show here.
What do you mean? Like how music?
Like how do you became an artist, things like that,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's why I do this work, right? Because my music was my first therapist. I, I started writing when I was really young and emo, and I was in middle school. Gosh, when I was little, I would just, I'm a head case, so I would go on the swing in the yard and picture music videos. And then I wanted to be a singer, and then I went into acting, and kind of gave up singing for a while because my sister has like literally the voice of Adele. And then she wasn't, and we didn't have any areas we clashed. We're very different. And so I was like, I'm gonna let her take that, because like, not let her, she just went ahead and took it, like she just has a killer voice. And so then, but then she wasn't doing anything with it. And so I was like, maybe I'm allowed to sing. She never told me I wasn't. It's just a big sister thing. We were very protective. And I went through my first real, not my first real heartbreak, but my first real heartbreak. It was very The Notebook. He was taken from me. And then when I went into a relationship after my first real heartbreak, was shipped off to boarding school. So I never got my closure, blah, blah, blah. I had all these young feelings. And then I went into a relationship. We broke up. And I, again, didn't know what to do with all these emotions. So I started writing again. And it wasn't for anything except for I needed to get it out. And once I wrote it down on paper and got this melody out, my friend was working at Recording Academy, and she was like, you need to do something with this. This is like good. And I went immediately. I'm one of those people that's just an extremist. So I was like, okay, cool. Went to a recording art studio, recorded it, published it, made a music video, did the whole thing. But it was like, I had to do that for me. And funny enough, people started hearing it, and Malibu's a lot of musicians. So I met one, producer, and this and that, and one thing led to another. And now it's just like, I'm such an artist. I'm such an emo kid with my, still my black eyeliner and my stud belt at heart. And I just need to, express my emotions in a healthy way. And through music is the best way that I know how, and I hope that people can hear my stories and feel like they're not alone, just the same as my posts. It's the same thing where it's just like, this is what I'm feeling, and you're not the only one if you're feeling that too. So I just adore it, and I just made a music video last week, which we actually filmed in IG style instead of YouTube style.
Okay.
So that's gonna be a little exciting. But yeah, so that is music for me. I've always said music is my soul and acting is my heart. It's just, they're just two different parts of it. But I'm just an artist through and through. There's not a math brain in there anywhere.
I'll give you this, and I'll say this. I haven't seen any of your music stuff. I know that's what you do, but even when you do your speaking gigs in the monologue, it's like that is you as well. So I don't want you to sleep on that as well, because it's great to see creators, and I champion every single creator. It doesn't matter where they're at. They could have 1 million views, 1 million followers, or you could have one, or maybe you have a couple thousand.
Yeah.
Just work on your craft and fine tune it.
Yeah.
Right? I speak with a lot of sports references. You got to look at the greats. Michael Jordan, he worked and he tuned his craft, right? He had to get slammed on the ground by the Detroit Pistons before he started winning championships, ladies and gentlemen. That's The Last Dance on Netflix. If you haven't watched it, get a friend's Netflix, figure it out, right? But you look at that great and it's like, figure someone out that you idolize in a way and study them.
Yeah.
What made them become who they are?
Yeah.
Right? That can be in whatever area and lens that you're wanting to be. It could be that actor. It could be that author. It could be that sports figurehead. Heck, it could even be your boss that you worked with that you had an amazing, relationship with, working relationship, things like that. Find that person and really start understanding and making up the concept, and it makes for a better today and a better tomorrow.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think what we didn't realize years ago is that what we thought like success looked like was because we had such a limited view of what was possible. Right? And like now, like looking back on young me, like all that existed to do with my acting and with my music was either be a traveling performer or be in movies. But now, like, I have hundreds of thousands of people watch me and listen to my music, but in a different way. They're just watching it on a different platform. And in a lot of ways, too, I'm so grateful for the way that it surfaced itself because I did grow up around a lot of celebrities. And I'm not sure, that working in a film where I'm isolated in a hotel room for 9 months would have been the thing that would have been best for me, and maybe someday it will. I'm not saying it won't, but I'm super grateful for the way that my talents have been used. But I also think it's very important. And you guys, like, if you have any talent or desire that you are not voicing and not using, tap into that because that will eat you alive. Like when I go a couple months without making music, it starts to hurt me. It starts to really feel like I'm abandoning myself. And so it is so important to, like, if you have a talent or a passion, it's so important to not cut yourself short and think that, oh, well, I'm not good enough. No, no. Like there are so many people that you look back and you never would have thought they made it and quote, quote, made it, and they made something. And I think the real goal is making that passion be a part of your life because you are going to do better at something you're passionate about 9 times out of 10.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's the thing, man. Like, I've been doing this for 8 years. We're going on it's going to be October 31st is 9 years.
That's amazing.
And it just feels like I started yesterday.
Yeah.
And
you love it.
You're right. And every week I show up. There's been times where I've missed 2 weeks in the space of 8.5. People are like, wait, really? I said, yeah. Because the thing is, I know what it is I want. I know how I'm going to get there. And nothing's going to stop me. Nothing's going to stop me. And I know that it could be in dating and relationships. The past folks, you know what they do? They got intimidated by it because they were nearsighted. They didn't feel it. That's the reason why when you rally behind the great relationships that you build, if it's dating and relationships, you got to find that person that's going to understand your mission. Yeah. If they don't understand your mission, you got to literally get out the scissors and you got to cut it.
Yeah.
Got to cut it out because they'll start coming back around when it's too late. Mm-hmm. When you're mentally checked out of the relationship, because men mentally check out as well. It's too late. It's too late. That's the reason why you got to solidify and you got to fortify everything it is that you touch. If it's dating and relationships and your friendships as well. See, I'm eating sentences now. But listen, Chelsko, it's been a pleasure having you on this podcast. Plug all your information. We're going to put it in the show notes, all that good stuff. And everyone, I encourage you, check out our Instagram, follow her, all that great stuff. But where can everybody check you out?
Thank you, guys.
You going to plug your information?
Oh, right now. Okay.
Yeah, please.
I was like, link in bio. So my Instagram, my only Instagram actually, is Chelsko Official now because my Chelsko music page got hacked last week. So I felt like that was the Lord being like, guess what? You have to start posting your music more on your main page. So Chelsko lifestyle, not music, is all of my platforms. Chelsko lifestyle.
I love that. I love that. Keep on going. Keep monologuing. And I'll say this. When I talk about creators, any podcast, I know my podcasting guys are out here watching this, girls and all that too. Give her a look. Trust me, give her a look. Because her monologues, her monologues is how I found her. I'm just saying, it wasn't the music. I'm not poo-pooing on her music. It was the monologues. Because when that mic gets on, I was like, oh yeah. I know you triggering people. All those past people that maybe came in your life. Triggering them. But that's what we do best. We got to trigger them,
Amen.
But I appreciate you.
Thank you. Appreciate you.